All right, here we are on the final day of the Elite Softball Coaches Convention at Spooky Nook Sports in Lancaster. I'm joined with the brainchild of the whole event, Christina Aulbach, who's the Director of Baseball and Softball Operations for Spooky Nook. Christina, first of all, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate working with you guys on this event.
Awesome. Yeah, it was great to partner with it. Again, last year we were at Mohegan Sun together, and we've kind of dabbled in coaches' clinics over the past couple of years. Nothing that we were ever really able to get off on a grand scale, and still wanted to do something on our own this year. And then when we had the conversation, it really didn't make sense to kind of compete against each other, but it made perfect sense to partner with each other. So talk about that whole process in your mind to kind of be able to collaborate with another organization as you're going down this venture.
Sure. So ever since I started at Spooky Nook Sports, I've had the idea of blending our facility with providing something for coaches to be able to learn from the game. We're so used to providing for athletes here that we often neglect the coaching side of things, and our coaches are teaching our athletes. So it's kind of like a ripple down effect. So when we were at Mohegan Sun, we saw big vision on the forecast for the vendors as well, and we know these guys from providing tournaments for our teams and a lot of great outdoor facilities that we don't have here at the Nook. So we work together on a lot of things anyways, have a great relationship, and we realized that we have a great indoor market, they have a great outdoor market, so we wanted to work together with someone to bring that to our facility, and it always helps to have a team in building something from the start, and it's been great. We've had regular meetings leading up to this and talking together, bouncing ideas back and forth, and it's been a lot of fun to work with you guys at Big Vision. It's always nice to have friends in the game too.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, you definitely did the mother load of the work this year, just to all honesty, for sure. But I like what you talked about, where a lot of times we're really focusing on doing stuff for the athletes, but I know you run some tournaments on your own, and that's our life down there, and we really see the best and the worst of both worlds here in coaching. So to really be able to focus on the fact that that's something that we need to help people get educated on and really do that is important, and it's great to kind of share that vision together. So talk a little bit about your vision for the Nook baseball and softball programs, because I know, again, with the teams themselves, that's something that we share some similarities there as well.
Yeah, definitely. Our philosophies really line up. I was just at the Berkshire baseball and softball banquet with you guys just a few weeks ago, and our philosophies are right along the same page. So our goal is to put our customer first. So whether that's the athletes in our academy, the coaches in our academy, the coaches that come to our facility, bringing their teams from out of town, playing in our winter tournaments, the kids in our clinics that are still developing, things like that. So we really focus on adding value to our program. So whether that's our leadership academy in our Nook softball academy for our athletes 10U through 18U, or providing a coaches convention where our coaches, our blended organizations, can come and learn at their home base here. It's really awesome. So I know our coaches are just buzzing all weekend. Their brains are exploding from all the information from the great presenters. But really our philosophy is developing the athletes first. So however we can help our coaches and provide the resources for them to develop them. We know that one person can't do everything for an academy of 140 athletes. But if we provide the resources for our coaches to be able to do that, then it all trickles down, and we're creating a great culture of learning and just kind of giving back to the athletes. Things that we didn't have when we were growing up, we want to be able to provide that tenfold for them in the facility we have.
Yeah. So had a great lineup of speakers here, some Olympic gold medalists, Team Great Britain, Team Canada represented here. Just talking about resources, there are definitely no holes barred with who you went out and got, but what was kind of that thought process? Because again, we got to interview all of the main speakers, and there's really a common line on their philosophies. So how did you go about researching, making sure that, obviously a key here is you don't want to get a speaker in here who's not on the same page with what you're teaching in your program. So what kind of background did you do on each of the speakers before you reached out to them?
Sure, that's a great question, and it's all about relationships, and that's kind of how we do things here at the Nook, and I know Big Vision is very similar. So we try to find the people that get along with our philosophies first. So building those relationships over time. Tina Whitlock was here 3-4 years ago and was here, I think, 2 years in a row working a clinic that was an external event here at the Nook, but we made relationships with her, saw all the awesome things she was doing there in that clinic, in our facility, and she was more than eager to come back. Then also the Olympians, I met Natasha Watley at the Mohegan Sun Conference last year in January and showed her pictures of the facility. She was all on board. She wanted to be involved. She had a great message at that conference, and I was like, let's bring that to Central Pennsylvania. And then she connected us to Amanda Freed on the pitching and defense side. And people relate to people that are like-minded. So I knew that reference from Natasha to Amanda Freed, it was a no-brainer. If it's a friend of Natasha, it's a friend of ours. And Joey's here all the time. Joey from Bucknell and Team Canada. She's always very hands-on with our athletes and very willing to talk to our coaches and stay longer and kind of go the extra mile with our program. She's a big supporter of our program. One of our athletes currently plays for Bucknell, and so we have a great relationship with her. She's here all the time. So we've created a good network, and I'm pretty proud of that. So having that lineup and no one really left any of the sessions and was like, oh man, that was a dud. So it was very nice to see that the sessions were taken very well. Sarah Sigris from Penn State, she's also been here for a lot of clinics that we've done with Penn State softball as well. So like I said, those relationships are so important. And even knowing coaches and friends of the game, our vendors, they're awesome. They've all been involved at the Nook before, and we have good relationships with them too. So very excited to kind of provide that through everybody here.
Yeah, definitely. All the feedback I heard was very positive. So that's great for the first year to really be able to establish a track record that we're going to have quality speakers. Coaches are going to come away with something here, which is awesome. So love that philosophy. One of the things I've been asking all the instructors, kind of the last question of the interview, because I know you're not just the head of operations here, you're a coach as well, and you former player, and the game's meant a lot to you. But obviously in our organization, we're big about making sure we're teaching life lessons through the game. So we've been asking all of our interviewees the question, what is one of the biggest life lessons the game of softball has taught you?
Yeah, that's another great question. It teaches me that you don't have to be the best athlete to be a great coach. So, I have a mix of coaches in our academy, and I've seen it throughout softball, throughout sports in general, that you need to be dedicated and you need to care about your athletes. And so that's one of the biggest things that I've learned, is that I would say I was a mediocre player at best. I wasn't an all-star in any means of the game, but I didn't play at the Olympic level, but softball was my life. I dedicated kind of my life to it, and now in my profession, softball and baseball are kind of coming full circle for me. And the game means a lot. So if you care about the game will give back to you. So putting that into our athletes and our coaches, I think is probably one of the most important things that I've learned, is that that how much the game has given to you, you got to give back to it. You got to pay your dues, and then hopefully it'll continue to pay you over the years. So
awesome. So again, pumped up about next year's event. I guess planning on that will probably start in about 3 hours or so. once this gets wrapped up.
Right.
But this is a great start, first year event.
Yep.
Love knowing that the Nook is committed to stuff like this. So looking forward to many more years of collaboration with you guys.
Awesome.
Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.